In 1995, 96, Sharon Stone and Goldie Hawn came in.
Instagram is a very powerful tool. It's a social network and it should be used as such. I went through 4,000 of your followers.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot, someone will tell them that Michael Jackson was outside and I wasn't able to sell anything.
In a club, if you show up at the door with enough women with you, you can get in and get a table. It's a match every time.
Joe, Johnny Depp, and my security guard, Nate, are partying all night with Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper, and Joe sold her like a Stingray bag.
And we are on air.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me, Eugene. This is Skip Paz.
Let's do the opening. Sublime Studios podcast, and we have something really special going on today. I have a good friend of mine and somebody who does really magical things in the clothing, in the leather craft industry. Stanley Skip Paz. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Nobody calls me Stanley, but everybody calls me Skip or, well, my sisters, I won't say that one. But
yeah.
We're just so grateful to be invited. West Coast Leather has been around for 20 years. And previously, I worked for North Beach Leather for 18 years, and I was the general manager for 8.
Yeah.
So I got the opportunity to help just so many incredible people, including so many celebrities. And tonight, you were able to pick the models.
Hold on. Before we go into this, so it's not just Stanley Skip Paz here who is the clothing designer, but he also wanted to present, not just talk about, but also show. And that's why we have amazing women with us. And I'm going to give you a floor to introduce yourself and talk about who you are and what do you do. And I'm going to start this way.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm Jenny Anderson. I'm originally from Salem, Oregon, and I moved to San Francisco about 4 years ago. And it kind of got me into the modeling industry because I went to a random party one day and was kind of introduced to some people, and I just kept the networking going. I met Eugene at a model mixer, and now I'm here. So I really appreciate you bringing me on, and I'm really excited for what's in store tonight.
Wait. I want to say I agree with Eugene. And I think that you're someone that nobody is knowing about now. But I think there's really big things for you to come in the future. And certainly we're going to feature you in our Black Leather library collection for 2023, which is very elegant. So
thank you, Skip.
Thank you for modeling. And you're actually modeling the new sheath top and those sheath shorts, which are LA Miami style.
Yeah, today was, I went into West Coast Leather today and met Skip, and it was such an awesome experience. Got to try on a lot of new clothes, and I'll definitely be back. So thank you, Skip.
You're more than welcome.
Awesome. And Skip is known for working with or creating things for celebrities for their upcoming roles. So whenever you talk about, I don't know, the specific outfit.
This is a new creation, but it's from, I actually told her the story. It's from a dress that we made in 1995, and we made it in orange, and it was in the North Beach Leather catalog, and that's when I was on the design team. And I decided that I wanted something really elegant for fall, and I separated the dress into two, and I put side grommets and lacing on the side, and also the shorts and the skirt. So it can be mixed or maxed, because right now it's very matchy-matchy, but I didn't want to show all black on the show today. So she's got the red, and she's going to finish with some hot pink pieces from the Barbie collection.
Awesome. Let's pass it to Lulu.
Hello, everybody. This is Lulu Rose. I'm originally from Zambia, and I went to Costa Rica, did my agriculture engineering over there. So I'm an agriculture engineer as well. Then came to the United States to do my master's. I'm also a molecular biologist. And then I shifted into cloud engineering. So I currently work as a cloud engineer. And then I met Eugene sometime last year, and he thought I could be a model. I believed him.
No, you didn't believe me. You didn't believe me.
It took me some time to believe him.
So what happened is I I sent photos of you to somebody who does shows at a very high level, and this person is known for being extremely elaborate in their preparation process. So she starts her show. She only does 2 shows per year, so seasons.
Yeah.
And she does she runs castings, and she has everything set up like half a year before the show starts. So it's impossible to get anything suggested to her or any kind of changes
Last
made
time.
a week
Right.
before the show, right? But what happens is I'm like, well, hey, I think I know someone who might be on your runway, and here are photos. I know it's a bit too late because your show is like next week, and she calls me on the phone and says like, get her over here right now. You see, specifically you.
This is how Ford and Elite and the big agencies in New York work. I was telling the models earlier that I had my career, and I started with Ford and Elite in Willamita in New York, and we actually featured a model search for Willamita, and we had Michael Bergen from Baywatch. I mean, big stars, and I had to speak, and that was like some of my first public speaking besides after college about after I worked with North Beach Leather. But you know what? I love that all of the models from that we have hired or worked with, everyone is like a master's. Everyone has got like in the number one in sales. You told me that what you did. So, you guys are going to keep finding. It's not just beauty, it's intelligence. And that's what really makes it interesting, especially in the Bay Area. It's very techy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was always involved with tech, with fashion, and that's when Facebook noticed me. And that's when Oracle noticed me. And I've been involved with a lot of corporate sponsors because we do it really modernized, I guess you would say, in the old days, but now it's tech. So I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
I'm even more impressed now.
Yeah, not so many people know that about me.
But yeah, and I had told you just before the podcast, hey, your runway, is the start of your stardom, but you should be in a movie.
Yeah, thank you so much. And something that you may not know now, I'll be featured in the New York Fashion Week,
Right.
September. So thank you so much.
Awesome job
Jen.
there, by the way.
Thanks.
That's in New York?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's lifetime achievement.
So that's where actual fashion happens, not in San Francisco.
Right.
Cool. Hyunso?
Hi, my name is Hyunsu. I'm from Seoul, Korea, and I came to United States for my master's degree for interior design. And currently an interior designer, also do modeling since I've been doing this since Seoul. And somebody in San Francisco found me, and I kept networking and found Skip. And I love his design. I also love meeting good people throughout this other creative outlet, and it makes my life going. This is amazing life. Thank you.
And the nice thing about you is that you fit the clothes perfect, but we have to talk about your shoe collection and your boots, because every time I get an outfit, you have the shoes that kill my outfit. It's even better. It's like Valentino. It's good. And, and in styling now is definitely the shoe, the bag. I'm a little bit more primaries right now. You're seeing the Kill Bill yellow, Picasso yellow, but you're wearing, did you know the history of what jacket you're wearing right now?
I'd like to hear from you more, though. I know it's from the Playboy show.
So this is from 2010 at the Playboy Mansion that we made for a charity. And I don't know if you can see very much of it, but it's actually Swarovski crystals with the silver inlays. And so we were authorized by Playboy as one of their vendors, and we made the Playboy ears for their website. So you can buy suede Playboy ears. But yeah, and you're also wearing the North Beach leather dress that matched with the big zippers called the rocker dress from 1996. So we brought a little vintage into the play. Everything she tries, it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
But she's also in one of our friends, Maria Maldonado, who's a really wonderful designer that hand paints things. And I think I found you through her, so I wanted to give her credit. She's done some repurposing. We're a zero waste company, and we repurpose all of our leather pieces with two other designers. One amazing from Los Angeles, Dark 8, and Maria Maldonado gets the smaller pieces, and she has made some things for Serene, who's really a big Instagram star. She was a Google podcaster, and now she's like the Beethoven of the 2000th century. Amazing. She's traveled all over the world. So it's very interesting, all the connections that we make with clients. When she first came in the store, I was like, oh my gosh, you look so, she's so shy. And she's like brilliant, and I was like, had to beg her, oh, please try one thing on. It's like the leather law. That's the thing. It's the leather law, So, but yeah, too bad we can't do the fashion show right now.
Thank you.
Well, we'll do more of it.
Okay.
Maybe next year when it's time.
We want to hear
do-
about Ashley because
to do another
Ashley
show.
and I
Let's switch to Ashley. Can you tell a bit more about how did you even happen here and what do you do?
So my name's Ashley Harrington, and I am from Tracy, California. I've been modeling for about 10 years, and Eugene here reached out to me through Instagram and found me through social media. I don't know how, but he did.
I have the real story on that, but I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Okay. I can talk about how that happened.
Yeah, tell it.
Yeah, sure.
It makes me happy.
Instagram is a very powerful tool it's a social network and it should be used as such. So I went on your WestCoastLeather Instagram account. I went through 4,000 of your followers.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
He is a
I guess I don't have very many followers, but
Oh my
I don't pay the algorithm.
And then
It's all guerrilla
and then
marketing.
That's what happened.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for following me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for reaching out. I'm really happy to be
Actually,
here.
I have to tell something about Eugene right now. So my daughter, Michelle Paz, who's a banker in New York and worked previously for Bloomberg, she told me about his fashion show that I didn't see the message. And she said, Eugene is doing a fashion show for a celebrity in San Francisco. You should probably do it. And I said, oh, I don't do club shows anymore. And she goes, no, it's a really good crowd. And so she put me in touch, and it was like magic. I mean, first of all, everyone that was there was a former model that was from, they were 20 and now they're 40, but they were all like coming up to me. And I was like, I couldn't remember everyone's name. I mean, I'm getting a little older, but it was so gratifying, and people are so nice. And that's what's always happened with West Coast Leather is people really like, what we're doing.
Absolutely.
But tell us a little bit more about your influencing, because I did study what you were doing, and it's kind of amazing how many products you're endorsing.
Yeah. So I've worked with a lot of bigger brands and businesses. They'll actually reach out to me through social media and want to do a business deal, collaborate. And for me, I'm all about I want to endorse a product that I truly believe in. I'll try it out, and then I'll get back to the business. And that's how I feel about it. I've really been grateful for all the connections that I have made. And I've been able to meet some incredible people that are really talented. And I know I wouldn't be where I am now without them. So it's all about the connections and people.
What I would tell you is, because I did have a model management company that is inactive at this time, but once I saw your profile and what you were doing, I think you could be like the next star of like a Baywatch. I mean, I don't think you should you should keep keep getting your goals higher. And certainly we want to feature you in the Black Leather Library Collection, as all of you guys today. So. But as a spokesmodel and actress too, I think those are things that all of you, have the opportunity. I think influencing is something that we weren't feeling was so important.
Yeah.
But so many people contact us all the time. Mm-hmm. It's like, but who do you go? And then when you find people that you trust, like Eugene, he's brilliant. I mean, this guy is, and he's handsome. And he invited me.
I'm going to send it to my mom.
And do you know how many people have bought things since you had the fashion show?
No, tell me.
3 models have bought things.
Nice.
Aw.
So now
job,
the
yeah.
pressure's on.
Yeah.
No, and the host of the event brought his friend.
Hmm.
She was very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 2-hour affair. They have to try on everything. They don't want to be cheated.
WestCoastLeather is known for working with celebrities and doing famous outfits. And you have some names here, so I'm pretty sure you have plenty of stories to tell in connection with
Yeah, I mean, once I started, then I really said, "Gosh, I need to get back to the book." But pretty much, I think the biggest story would be that Larry Brown hired me in Chicago in 1985.
Yeah.
I don't think any of you were born. But if you were, don't say. But he worked at Studio 54 in New York. He was the bouncer. And when the North Beach Leather store opened in New York, he was hired away from Studio 54, but he still worked there. And there was a picture recently of him with Tina Turner and Rod Stewart at Studio 54. And he's in the background. And yesterday I called him, and then again I called him today. All of his kids... he married a beautiful lady, and she was a singer, and all of his kids are movie stars. And they were in Blackjack movie, what is it? School of Rock. So that was his first daughter. So it's like every, I mean, I don't know all the stories about his kids, but anyway, I said, "What are you doing now?" And he's like, I said, "Can you text me any of the," he texted me the Michael Jackson story. I'll tell you that later. But Dennis Rodman was at his house yesterday.
Michael Jackson has lots of stories, and you learn about them from other people.
Right.
Like, he never actually talked about any of this. He's known for somebody who just sang, right? And also a lot of allegations, which I don't really know about. But
I wasn't involved in any of those allegations.
good for you.
Good, thank you. But yeah, the thing that was happening with him is when Michael Jackson actually came to North Beach Leather in 1996, he came with Lisa Marie Presley, and he just got married. And he had a white limo outside, and she was in the store, and he wanted to buy her a gift. And so we had the stylist and all the publicity people, and it was not a big deal because Madison 66 during the week is kind of low key, but the limo's there where the whole team is helping, and she is not liking anything. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to panic. I'm the general manager. I just got promoted. I cannot, someone will tell them that Michael Jackson was out inside and I wasn't able to sell anything. So I went downstairs and we were making this coat, and Vogue magazine ended up calling it the great coat. And Cindy Crawford wore it in Vogue in 1996 in brown, but we had made a black one, size 4. And I pulled it out, and it luckily was ready, and I threw it on her, and she fell in love. And Michael came to the store and bought it, and it was like, oh my God, it was kissy kissy. Nobody even had cell phones back then. But it's all over the internet, and I asked Joe, my manager, to get it, and I emailed it to Eugene. It's on one of the press things, but it's a very famous coat. And Pamela Anderson ended up buying it, and it saved me. I was more nervous that, oh my God, I couldn't tell anybody that Michael Jackson was there and we didn't sell him anything. Right. But I had already helped him a few times earlier with his dad in Chicago. And Larry was the manager that hired me away from the nightclub business in Chicago, which was Mike Dickens and Jukebox Saturday Night, because that's where you were interested in what we were doing before. So Michael Jackson used to come in with his dad sometimes in disguise.
Okay.
He's not.
I'll leave it at that. I won't say anything else. But he had the mask before the mask was in. So
he is known to wear. Okay. He is known for having this syndrome of suffering from too much fame. That's why he liked to dress up in such a way that people don't recognize him.
Yeah.
All those hats and so on. So it's not just it was his.
This was in the Water Tower place, and it was like his dad would come in, and we were helping Eddie Murphy. It was like every day we were helping some celebrity. Paola Abdul came in right after she did a tour in Tokyo, and I was like, "You guys, this is Paola Abdul, and she's buying quite a bit." And like was going to buy her CD in Tokyo, you know, but
Right.
anyway, that was like 87, and she was hot. But anyway, she bought, towards the end, I had sold her quite a bit, like little brown, like tiger jackets and really cute little bomber jackets. And you're going to see our bomber jacket later. But it was at the register and I got the card and it was like, ooh, I can't ask her for her autograph. It's awkward. But I said, what size is your boyfriend? And she goes, oh, 42. And so this is a big story because I said, okay, hold on a second. And I ran in the back and I pulled down this jacket. It was the 42 bowling jacket. And it's the most famous color block
Bingo.
besides the 8-ball jacket
Yeah.
ever.
Wow.
And the USA jacket's in the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History in Washington, literally. And so is the 8-ball jacket.
My gosh.
A lot of people were killed on that. Not going to go there now, but I have that about the Mary J. Blige and the Left Eye from TLC.
Wow.
So
New York.
in 1995, 96, Sharon Stone and Goldie Hawn came in.
Yeah.
And there was a writer from Vogue magazine that was writing about leather pants. It was the hottest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So they were mostly like, didn't matter if it was jeans, which is like 5-pocket guy's jean or whatever. Girls would play it, wear it when they're bowling or, playing pool. It was like in a lot of ads. So we had like all these companies that were buying it, but it was really just like a big thing. So Sharon Stone was getting leather pants for Casino and Goldie Hawn was getting white pants for the First Wives Clubs. Those are the movies. You can like Netflix it. But the lady from Vogue came in and said, well, what's the story with the pants? And she went all over Europe and then she came to our store. And I said, it's not about the size number. It's about the fit. So the actual writer bought styles in size 6, 4, and 2. So later in the article, it got published in Vogue, and I told her what Goldie Hawn said to me after I lowered the waist of a leather pant. And she said, my ass was grass if her ass didn't look good. And if you know Sharon Stone, nobody else is coming out with that. And that's in Vogue, and you can Google it. And also Goldie Hawn, First Wives Club, very good friend at the time. She was never married, but her guy, I kind of had that haircut back then. It's called the mullet. And so she got the white leather pants and said, how does my butt, actually asked, look for 50? But we didn't tell her what Sharon Stone had said. So they put it in Vogue also. So if you Google North Beach leather, skip pause and everything, you can find that article in Vogue magazine.
Wow.
But it was about what fits. It's just like, you could be an 8, you could be a 4. It doesn't matter your size.
It doesn't.
I think you're bringing up a really good point.
Proper
Yes.
is the
Absolutely.
point. So when people order clothes, like I get on the phone and like, tell me about your figure a little bit, like I don't want to like send it 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a difference.
When I buy clothes, I don't usually like go to stores and buy hoping that it's going to fit. I know that I can always tailor things down. That's why it makes sense to say buy a bit bigger things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, people don't buy stuff on Amazon because, well, how can you actually try it, right? Before, but I'm fine because I know that I can always modify it to look good on me, and this opens whole like trove of opportunities, right? Because
I want to get these girls' comments on this. This is very important what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is a huge trend, and I definitely did not write this down, but I have it on my website, and we have an extremely high rating on our alterations and repairs. I'm a designer. So when someone comes in that maybe gained 10 pounds in COVID or lost or 20 or 30 or 40, it doesn't necessarily matter because I can geometrically come up with a concept to make it work. It doesn't work all the way at the spectrum because it's just like mathematical engineering or anything that's a design or a code. It has to work.
Right.
But so many young professionals that are into fashion are buying things in resale stores. And one company in LA Cynthia Robbins. I saw their Instagram, and it was everything from North Beach Leather, and I was like, God, this is weird. They have everything, and they bought it all during COVID and put it on their. So it's like a store, but it was from LA. So people in LA, it might be it's too hot or whatever, but it was like I was like did they like steal from the warehouse? Was that the warehouse manager's like wife or something? And I finally found the story, and it was the daughter of the lady who's a designer, but she just started collecting it during COVID. And it's like, if you see her today, they have beautiful pieces from our old company. I'm not sure the prices or anything, but I contacted her about one piece, which was a dress that had holes in it, and I wanted to I said, oh, maybe I should just buy it so that I can really have a guideline. But yeah, we make the old patterns. We're actually own the intellectual property of North Beach Leather, because during the it wasn't a bankruptcy, but when I acquired the company in 2003, the designer at the time, instead of going into bankruptcy, he put it into a California general assignment. So all the employees got to work for the next company, and then I paid off the debt of the old company. So all these people that I had maybe been owed from the old company got paid off. So I have very good relationships still to this date with some of them. Some aren't here anymore, like our Tarō, who made the Britney Spears pants that's on the cover of our website.
So when you say that someone made clothing for a celebrity, did they actually wear it?
Yeah, the Britney Spears was for her second album cover, and that's on our website in a video reel of all of North Beach Leather and West Coast Leather. But we helped her in the New York store. It's just like a movie. It's just like the video. Everything fit. There was no alterations.
Yeah.
When
you make it from the ground.
Oh, no. We had it. We had it in stock. It was like, we had every size back then. Now we're making things, fast and fast. People are always in a rush, but we're really special order oriented. But this year I'm got a better plan, which is to make all of the best things we ever made and put it in a catalog. And we're starting with all the long coats. Matrix from the movie, the first. We sold the director in 2020 when Keanu Reeves was here.
Yeah.
The wife of the director bought my Zip Matrix coat. Now, we don't have that, but I'm hoping that you get some good ratings and that you want us back.
That's similar to what Lulu was wearing at my fashion show, right?
Yes, that's the same coat.
Yeah.
So is it that coat or?
Not that color.
Okay.
Black. Leather.
Wow.
Very cool.
See, you have to say that. That's in the Matrix 1.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I just wanted to take it home, but I was like...
And actually, underneath the Kill Bill jacket you're wearing...
I was wearing the same dress.
You're wearing the French lace dress. I was telling Jenny and Hasu the story, but Tim Batts, our manager of the Las Vegas West Coast Leather, had MTV come in, and Nicole Schwarzenegger, not Schwarzenegger's, what's her name? Last name. But anyway, Nicole from the Pussycat Dolls came in for the MTV Music Awards, and she bought that dress.
Wow.
And it went between 4 other stores. And I remember we had it on hold, and it was a size 2. And I was like, God, I can't believe she fits size 2. And she goes, yeah, these movie stars are thinner than you think. But yeah, that was really great exposure. And we had one that Ashley was going to wear that was also on Victoria Beckham, which was a zebra dress. And we just didn't have enough time to feature that one, but that one looked also pretty on you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. I was really impressed by all of his pieces that I tried on.
The models, usually when they come in, they're like all smiling the whole time.
Yeah, the quality of the material, like you just feel important when you wear it. You just feel important, like I'm feeling right now. Like
yeah, let's talk about that. So, what you do is, well, it looks amazing, right? So that's why people come to a store, and that's why celebrities are so interested in this specific manufacturing. So, can you guide us through like where do you even get the material? So
Yeah, I think that's
pretty much-
super important. I think that the starting point is I had a notes on the person that I work with in Los Angeles
Yep.
since like 1998, and he was actually very famous in the industry. And I took him to the Playboy Mansion twice. His name is Gustavo. He is like that guy from the beer commercial that every woman wants to be with. He's just, but he's married. He's a family guy. He prays more than anybody. But yeah, Gustavo went to the Playboy Mansion with me twice. We got there we were the last to leave, and they just love us. And we made things for Jenny McCarthy for her autism charity, Generation Rescue, and that's one of the white Playboy jacket that we couldn't quite reach. But Gustavo cut for Patricia Gucci, and that's like a big movie, and she's so that was in right around when I started the company, when North Beach Leather was transitioning to my company, West Coast Leather. And so he had already been working for us, and he was in Sausalito, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm working with Patricia Gucci." I was like, "What?" So I don't know what was wrong with me, but I talked to him today because I wanted the stories about this to write down. And I was like really mad at myself for like the worst mistake I've ever done is he said I didn't want the escutarian line, I'm not saying that correctly. Equestrian, thank you. Okay, because I did that earlier and now I screwed it up twice. But anyway, he made the line for her, and I was like, "Well, can you make a version for West Coast Leather?" He goes, "You told me not to do it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, can someone take a baseball bat?" So I did order it today.
That would have been amazing.
Well, it's coming.
Go horseback riding with it.
It's a blazer.
Can't wait.
You got to have the boots.
I love that.
It's going to be the leggings, but the leather leggings with the details. I mean, I've already got it in my mind, and now we have to go have a drink afterwards and like draw it. Can you guys help me?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
We're all in.
Some of my best work has actually been after, or before a dinner, and just little tiny notes. I'm like kind of weird with that. So yeah, I start with the leather from Italy, and I think that's the primary thing that people don't understand about leather is what West Coast Leather is lambskin primarily. That will stretch and that will breathe, and it's usually from Italy, France, Spain, or South Africa, where it doesn't have a lot of flaws in the skin, and it's really smooth and not a lot of waste when we're cutting it, because you don't want to like not be able to utilize the whole skin because it is obviously expensive.
Right.
And then the leather is not just where it's from it's tanned. So it's the engineering of how it's dyed. So the dyeing is usually Italy.
Like
now China,
tanned is adding color to the skin.
tanning is
Yeah.
dyeing, and it's different ways. Now more popular is vegan tanning, which is with veggie oils, and everyone in LA, like the female clients that know about it, like if they like leather, they'll only buy vegan tanned leather.
Yeah.
So that's actually usually washed and kind of textured-y. So
That's to me, it's like a bit of a dissonance in the sense that it's leather, right? So it's coming from animals, but then you want to be vegan.
but no, not vegan. Vegan tanned,
Yes.
not
So-
vegan leather. That's another story.
Yes.
Jenny
That's
is going to
true.
ask me that
Yeah.
story.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so it's the tanning, it's the origin of the skin, and it's the cutting, and it's the understanding to make it slightly bigger for a seam allowance to fit the woman's curves. For example, the new outfit, we put the lacing on the side because our sizes go 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever. It's only 1.5 inches between. Now I did the lace on the side, and it's a little more modern. People want to have the look. They might not want to like not breathe, because some of the stuff in the days, they had the pliers when we got the
Right.
girl in the outfit in the fitting room.
Solomon.
I mean, it was.
And with,
I
with-
wasn't a part of it.
With,
Yeah.
with lacing, you can make it fit
Oh yeah,
multiple
this is
sizes.
so comfortable. I feel like I gotta customize it to myself.
Oh yeah.
It's very chic too.
This is
Like
very
if you're in the south of France and you have that outfit in white, and I have it in white, I just didn't want to do white with the podcast because it might wash you out. But you probably could do. This is stretch leather. Actually, this is actually from Italy too. So it's black on the back, but this is in the
we had
video
it at-
Simply Irresistible.
We had it at the show. Yes. That
No,
looks
this
familiar.
is in a very famous video with Robert Palmer and Black Suede.
Very cool.
Simply Irresistible.
Yeah, it's very comfy.
You have to put that on your podcast,
I'll have to.
or at least on your IG. But anyway, so then it's all cut, sewn,
Yeah.
and then Gustavo cuts it. We have only a few sewers that are like approved for us, but then we also have things that we do are a little bit more rock and roll, that are a little bit more edgy, that different kind of sewers can do, and different machines that are using thicker leather. And this company that we work with does stuff for Disney. The biggest star, who was just in, playing where the 49ers play. What's her name? The blonde girl. She's like 6 foot.
So many of
If you guys don't get this one, I'm going to be in trouble.
Blonde 6 feet.
Or 5'11". She's the blonde.
5'11".
What's
She the country art?
no?
No, you said she's in. Oh.
Is she a model?
Not Shania Twain. No, it's the blonde girl.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
Okay,
like,
so Taylor Swift. So they make stuff for Taylor Swift. So when I do an order, I'm like, we're doing Taylor Swift's outfit. We can't do yours right away. Tell the customer 2 more weeks. So we're like, okay.
Oh. That's exciting though.
Yeah, no, it's
really neat.
it's really good. And like people just appreciate also, and we're actually designated made in California.
Yeah.
And it's through the state of California. It's California made, California proud. It's a certification from the state of California Manufacturing Association. So I've been doing this for 20 years, and they recognized me, and it was just something to add to our credibility.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Locally made.
Yeah.
You also do like you also have special process for like putting things together, because my understanding, I don't sew that much myself, but I know that there are different kind of needles for different materials, and like leather requires special kind of needle, special kind of thread, right? So I mean, you're the professional, you can tell us more about this.
Well, you have to order all the right materials, and you start with, it's like a heavy duty thread just for leather. And then there's 2 different machines that can go between lambskin, and it can change the millimeter measurement, which is like point, like our leather ranges from 0.5, which is the millimeter. I mean, Americans don't really understand millimeters, but it's,
That's like half of the like coin, maybe.
I don't know what it would compare to on a coin, but our standard leather is 0.7 to 0.8. So all of these, with the exception of the veggie tanned Playboy jacket, and that's the washed Barolo from Italy, and that's probably like a 8.5. But yes, it's not done by hand, it's done by machine, but there's so many little pieces. So it's really a puzzle. So
So do you have to have a sketch first? So you have some kind of maybe software, or you just
we got to have a
draw it?
memory.
oh
Yeah, we have like we
very
have the cell phone sitting there. No, of course we have a pattern. We have a pattern. The pattern is the piece of art to us, I guess, and we have to vary that. But normally, what we do is when we have a winner, we just make all the sizes for the pattern. Everyone is different. Everyone has longer sleeves or bigger shoulders, and every single thing is adjusted now. Like your body, like you are like the cyborg of the fashion. You're going to be in the black leather catalog too. You're going to have to continue.
I will try, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of work and it's a big process. But it's just very specialized, I think, is the big thing. And people do come to us because they want it really nice.
Mm.
So we just pay that extra, time to it. You can see on this yellow jacket, I did this little triangle above the zipper. That's in case you like had a drink and you don't want to, I don't want the zipper to, to come apart. And, this zipper on the back of her dress is actually unzips from both sides. Now, that might not be needed, but it's certainly convenient.
Yeah, just nice detail, which makes things more unique. And I think it's uniqueness is what you go for.
And this is from 1996. This dress is 30 years old. And I thought, I had it in the back and I was like, it matches the Playboy jacket. Because I didn't want her to wear the same sexy black patent leather outfit she wore for the fashion show. I didn't want to bore your viewers.
Yeah, and that's one more thing I wanted to bring up. So leather clothing lasts for decades. And
I mean, we call the factory once in a while and we tell them, we sold the Black Panther trench coat from 2004. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we had it in the mannequin and somebody wanted to buy it. And I was like,
so 20
wait a
years
second,
ago.
that's 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Glass.
That's really sustainable.
It is. And we petitioned the city to not, need recycling and all this. So we only have a recycling bin. We're not required to compost because we obviously don't have any leather scraps. But we did get flooded the other day. Unfortunately, Joe calls me, my manager. He goes, Skip, I have a little emergency. I'm like, what's a little emergency? I'm like, at Home Depot. And he's like, oh, it's flooding in the store.
Oh.
What do you mean it's flooding in the store?
Oh no.
Someone was at
There was
work
so
and
much rain?
something broke. Yeah.
Oh.
So he saved
Pipe issue.
the building and turned the water off for the building. So everybody
Go,
gives
Joe. Good
Joe.
work. Save the day.
Yeah, so he kind of saved a big problem. But since then, all the neighbors in the neighborhood their dogs are running into our store thinking we have rawhide at the store.
Very cool. Okay, so you mentioned that you do everything in your head, basically. You imagine pieces and then you just memorize them and you have special, like maybe place in your...
Now I have several books and I just draw and I just, wherever I am, I'll write it down right away because when you're like in this space, you might not remember it. So it's really important for me just to have like little notes and then I can fortunately call and then do a professional order with a diagram. And Joe, my manager, makes a lot of little diagrams, but it's strange that we were able to take it from a very miniature little drawing to reality.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of technical little things that I've learned over the years to fit the woman's body and for men as well. And, one of the stories that I had was NBC News or NBC called and they were doing Chris Isaak for the Elvis special for his 30th anniversary. And it was like 1998. And they said, you have to go to Chris Isaak's house and measure him for the Elvis outfit. And I'm wearing the TCYB because I wanted to tell the story because North Beach Leather helped Elvis from 1969 when he first came in the store and the driver of his limo came and said to Michael Hoban in LA, and he said, the king wants to come in. And it's a big story in Vogue magazine and you can Google it. It's 2 or 3 page story. But the king said to Michael Hoban, and he was in the LA store, they're closing, like on a Sunday, and he says he wants to come in. The king wants to come in. The king? Who's the king? He goes, it's like the king of what country? He goes, the king of effing rock and roll.
Oh, that.
Oh my God. I wasn't there, but I work with this guy, Michael Hoban. He's a genius. He started North Beach Leather with his partner, Frank Morgan, and they hired me. And, I helped the company when they were getting older, still doing $30 million a year. So I had, just a tremendous amount of experience from learning catalogs, the marketing. We were on Madison Avenue with Ford models and hot pants. the buses, nobody honked a horn. Everybody loved North Beach Leather, and fortunately, now West Coast Leather.
Very cool. I wanted to go a bit before your passion for leather materialized into a company. And also, I think we're at 45 minutes mark. Maybe it makes sense for us to take a break.
One of my best clients was size 20. She was a big power player in San Jose. And when she spoke, I jumped.
Wow.
She wanted stuff, bam. But everyone deserves respect. But for the clients that are actually like really taking care of themselves now, to me, you see the influencers and you see the models that are, they're like, it's so physical. Like, and then it's all food oriented and or nutrition. And all you guys, I asked you all like the same thing. What do you guys do? Very healthy. And then, a lot of exercise. And it's like, it's not just a profession anymore. It's like a lifestyle.
Definitely.
Where going out, when I was like in the business, 95, in Chicago, in 93, and I ran nightclubs.
I had a bunch of questions on this.
Yeah.
Side.
So I started off in graduating in like 1981. But then in 1985, I was like the general manager of Dicka's restaurant, nightclub, and 3 jukebox Saturday nights and Faces nightclub. So I really didn't sleep. But I raised so much money, and I was like so honest. The owners gave me everything.
You didn't sleep
I turned in so much money.
You didn't sleep because of the schedule, or you didn't sleep because it just
No, I slept, of course, but I'm just saying the nightclub closed on Saturday at 5.
Yes, 5 a.m.
Yes.
Wow.
And
that's common.
Wow.
And on Friday at 3, and during the week 2. But, it was a big team. I mean, it was like we had the Chicago Bears winning the Super Bowl. We had Jim McMahon. We had Frigerator Perry. And I made Frigerator Perry a jacket that the sleeve, he had a broken arm. So the zipper was on the arm. And it was a vest that he could take the sleeve off while he had the broken arm. But, in Chicago, and that was after, like, he came to the store after I left the nightclub business. But Chicago is fantastic. It's the same now. Everywhere has crime. Chicago's always had stuff going on, but the city is still a great city. And the nightlife there, in the 90s and
Chicago
the 80s.
has one of the best nightlife scenes,
Yeah.
I would think, in this country, for sure. Lots of like really cool music. I love house, and house kind of started in those areas. Well, the reason why there was a place called Warehouse in Chicago.
You said you're from Chicago, right?
No. I lived in Boston, but I was born not even. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're so talented and so smart. Can you tell us about how you got in this business? I feel like I need to.
I thought it's about you, not about me.
Yeah, but just tell us the little thing.
Okay. In 2014, I was in Boston back then, and I've met someone from Paris, France, and that person actually had experience doing fashion shows in Paris. Well, Paris is the place to do shows.
I've been there many times.
Yeah,
I always go in January where they have the sale.
Otherwise,
it would cost you a fortune.
Yeah. So, and he was like, I want to do a fashion show, and I have everything. Let's just put it together. And I'm like, well, sounds amazing. I just don't know how it's going to work. Like I've never done anything like this. And we did find pretty much all the components for that. So you need venue, you need a designer, at least one, preferably multiple. And then you need makeup artists, hairstylists, and you need the models.
I mean, this is something that I think, we would have a whole other business to talk about this, because this is so important that people don't understand the modeling. It's like you guys are all, have, some experience, but it would be a good thing to share that with models so they don't waste time with fake kind of schools and stuff like that, that are like kind of like taking their money and not really giving them what they want.
It depends what you want. It's very like in any kind of entertainment business, it's very difficult to make fortune. It's very difficult to make substantial amount of money. Like if you're in acting, you are only paid if you are like top.
Tom Cruise.
A-list, right? Celebrities.
Wait a second, they're not A-list? I would say at least A, not A minus.
Like I went to a bunch of auditions myself, and yes, you can land roles, and you can make maybe like $100, $300 per day, and that's a role in a movie. You see, that's because you are not famous. You see, as soon as you get famous, that's where you get into millions. So it's very exponential kind of income, and same stuff for modeling. Well, again, I've never been I've been on the runway myself, but I can't call myself a model, right? I'm maybe not tall enough for being a male model, but you have to be a famous model to actually sign $1 million contracts. And then there are, and I'll tell you more, there are a lot of modeling gigs. Like there's lots of modeling happening in San Francisco, which is free.
I want to just throw this in because Jenny came in and you found her, and my new assistant we found on a modeling thing, and I was like, I was just kind of looking, and she ended up directing one of the top real estate companies in New York. She was just featured in Maxim magazine in Thailand and New Zealand. She's brilliant. She's helping me with all the posts and the social media for West Coast Leather. We're getting like 134,000 a month impressions, and it's because of guerrilla marketing primarily and a small ad. And the people from Google actually came to the store, and I was out of town, and Jamie and Joe met with them. And, we appreciate everybody tagging. And it's very important that you try to tag every person, every makeup artist, but
because it increases distribution.
Because the way you're making it sound, it's like it's so hard. But when you find people that maybe have like a hidden talent, like you look like Megan Fox.
Oh gosh.
And you know what? You're just gonna get into it, and you're fresh. And you like if you get advice from the right people, and you just, she could be that 1 in a million. I guess what you're saying. No,
it's possible. Otherwise,
you're on New York
there wouldn't be
Fashion
people
Week.
there.
You could be on French Vogue next week. You look like you should be an airline, like the commercial, for like United. Like come join us.
Yeah, I had a big Barbie shoot, and I dressed up for basically in these different outfits from the movie, and I had a blast, and it was probably one of my favorite shoots so far.
So Joe was supposed to bring the other black and it's over there, the black and pink jacket, but you're wearing my new pink and black little varsity thing. I've done some consulting for some big companies. Nike is one of my friends, is the
no one knows
chief
about
designer,
them,
but I can't really
what
say
kind of company is
anything.
Nike?
But he likes me, and he like occasionally, we have lunch. But this is my favorite new jacket. And so it's a little longer than the Playboy jacket, but it's basically a cropped little bomber jacket. And we have this. This is the motorcycle jacket, and this is we wanted you to try on this because you guys would have been wearing this together. So that's the reverse. So like I try to be like make it interesting, right? So my favorite thing about when I'm working with models that are really pretty and intelligent is that I just try to keep West Coast Leather interesting. And so when I thought about it a couple weeks ago, it was like I was looking at the technical thing on the website, and it's like people are only spending like 2.5 minutes online. I'm like, that's not terrible. But so I thought if I wrote a little article about every model, and there were 1,000 models. So I want to make sure that every model that ever had been with us, text me their information or send us an email so we can put you on there, a little bit about your photo shoot and about maybe what you're doing now. But so that's the reverse pink. And then this is they're both wearing the pink coat dress that can be worn as a top or a jacket. So Barbie Mania, has.
It's a bit different kind of like flavor of pink. I think yours is a bit lighter. Although,
Yeah, but it's just basically like everybody wants pink.
yeah,
Like every shade of pink.
that's the Barbie movie. You see, there's the
It's
power of big
crazy.
screen. Yeah,
My daughters, Michelle and Jordan, named after Michael Jordan, they see the movie. Their boyfriend, Blake, he's dressed in like Ken for the movie. We brought you a jacket for the Ken thing. I don't know if you saw
I don't know
that.
if it's a Ken thing, really.
Well, Joe is going to come on. Can you bring you didn't bring it? What? The pink jacket for him? Oh, hold on. Okay. So we got
I would wear,
we
sure.
got the Ken hoodie. We got the Ken hoodie for you for like the photos. Because you're very handsome, and I think it's good that you took my idea, because I wanted to tell a story about the Chicago store with Oprah Winfrey, and she lived in the Ritz-Carlton, which was part of the store, and I got hired by Larry Brown in 1985, and I was working at Pacific Stereo, and he came in to buy the Chicago Bears Watchmen. They were playing for the Bears, and it was like a Sony TV that was like $100 or $200 for color. And so, oh my God, you look so cool. So anyway, so this guy comes in, and I saw him like $20,000. He came in to buy a $100 TV, and he's like, "You're the best salesman I ever," And I said, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, it turned out he owned a nightclub. So then I got into the nightclub business.
So you got
doing the installation of the stereo equipment.
So you were like more like an audio engineer before you went into.
I love
leather.
engineering. I love reverse engineering. That's what I do. If I see a top, I like try to spin it like 7 ways before. You had to always change things 7 ways in the old days. Now people can copy anything basically, and there's no copyright. It might be erased.
What do you mean? Try to upload the video
copyright
with
on
copyrighted
clothing
music
of a dress or this is complicated. Something that it might be an official NBA or NFL. Like for example, I got the permission of the NBA to make a basketball player the NBA logo in reverse for Kenny Anderson, and so I had to get a permission for the NBA to make this jacket for him, which was in black and white. And it was color block. It was like Nike shoes now. So it was black and white, but it was separated in every piece. So we made the jacket. They gave us the permission. And then they go, "We want you to make 3 long trench coats for the WNBA, 1996. And I made them in like a week for the WNBA. And they were all tall: Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Rebecca Lobo. I mean, Rebecca Lobo is 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's like I didn't want the NBA mafia after me. I had to make this
There are
stuff
maybe
fast.
3 people on this planet who are 6'7".
No camera in Madison Square Garden with the fan on and these 3 girls. Somebody get me a picture. Anybody. I mean, I guess I have to get a hold of the WNBA, but I made those 3 long trench coats. And that's what I'm bringing back for fall is the long coat, because such a beautiful coat. These are long. You guys can't see it now, but.
Yeah. Okay. The part I still don't understand is how did you transition from and why did you transition from like nightlife? I understand it might be not the best profession because it's taxing and you don't really sleep. But how did you go?
Oh no, that was an exaggeration. No, I mean it was great. I was 25. I met my current wife, and we fell in love. And when you fall in love, it's that's it. And I got out of the nightclub business because I didn't want to lose her. So
otherwise you would have stayed.
Yeah, I mean I was like friends with a lot of people and whatever. It was back in the time. So I was very happy to find some. When you fall in love, it's just when people ask about it, it's like it. Yeah. It's just it's you don't have to make any decisions. Everything is done for you. So that happened. But interesting, and that's my wife Debbie. We're just celebrating 35-year wedding anniversary.
Sweet.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's achievement too.
Yeah,
That's huge.
She has a lot of leather. But I've also been kind of a matchmaker for people through our shows when I used to have big parties. So when you talked about like the nightlife part, so like I would always put on these events, and like 6 people have got married, including my manager that I pulled in from LA, and I put her up with my friend, and they ended up getting married, and now she has her own podcast on iHeartRadio. Yvette Gentile Ward and her mom. I mean, just this incredible. I mean, we just work with so many people. She had a movie that came out on TNT, and so her grandparents were like the Black Dahlia. And so her grandmother and stuff. So anyway, she's like has a podcast now, and it's here. We have to find the notes on that one because I don't want to say. I know it's not. I don't want to say what it is. Facing Evil. So it's Facing Evil, and she's on iHeartRadio, and she was just on Lawrence Fishburne's podcast, Great American History is Great Mysteries. And so she was just on there, and she like if Joe takes vacation or she comes in and she works. She's literally a movie star now. And yeah, I mean, I work with the Black Widow, who's the best billiard player ever. All of her pictures on her website are from the black leather I made her. Charleston Pierce, he modeled for North Beach Leather. He's fashion icon. Everybody pretty much knows him. If you're in the runway scene, you want to definitely check him out. Are you guys connected with him? If not, he has connected me with the Matrix and Gavin Newsom and all the Warriors. And we did like so many fundraisers. He's done 30 fashion shows with WestCoastLeather. Dame Drummer came in, and he was up for Producer of the Year for the Grammys. This was like a big new thing. He saw a women's jacket that was like the Playboy jacket with this leather. I made him a tuxedo for the Grammys, and his 16-year-old son that was 6'3", but we designed a jacket that was more modern for him. So, you know, we're just like, people are coming in. Like Alice Cooper came in for Mother's Day with Joe, and I was like, we already did his charity for like 15 years. We make the jackets 20 years now. And so we make this Alice Cooper jacket. We sell it every day for like, it's our number one jacket. It's a racer, and he has his signature, and he has like a little deal on the back. But he's coming in and he's like, we're playing in town. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to the baseball game with my daughters tomorrow. But Joe Joe, Johnny Depp, and my security guard, Nate, are partying all night with Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper. And Joe sold her like a Stingray bag, for, you know, and then of course, you know, Johnny and them bought like the bomber jacket. We have pictures of that stuff. And you know, that's the real cool things. But, you know, we do give back a lot. One of my saying is like, giving back is always in fashion. We've been in 1 year over 20 fashion shows for charity. We are doing the Presidio golf tournament, the 29th. And that is with a lot of the Warriors, Giants, and different players. And we are going to do this little Barbie, you know, fun photo shoot with some of the players. And, you know, the ones that are going to be funny, got to be funny. You got to like have your distraction ready.
Oh boy.
I'm testing Jenny.
Yeah, good question was like, what does funny mean?
Yeah.
Funny means like Steph. Why, you know, when I saw you at the nightclub, I don't know. I mean, the girl has to do her own style. I guess I'm not going to give them the things to say. I mean, it's all personality, right?
Workshop some jokes.
Anyways, cool. What I'm getting is that your involvement in nightlife actually helped you to build some kind of like audience, and then you're able to sell to that very same audience. So, and maybe clubs were different in Chicago back in your day compared to what they are now. But like clubs are making revenue primarily from VIP tables by
Yes, no,
you were there.
I've been in Vegas.
How were things back in your day? Like what clubs doing?
Well, let me tell you real quick about Vegas. So we had a store at the Fashion Show Mall, and it was great. And we were one of the top stores next to Victoria's Secret, and we would go out every night. I mean, it was just like, but I couldn't keep up that now, but it was so much fun. And that was 2008, 2009. I mean, and you'd only go out for a little bit because you had to work the next day.
Yeah.
So you'd go out, and then we knew all the promoters, so we never had to, to pay to get in. But back then, it was everybody really dressed up really nice. It was almost like a date night without date night. It wasn't so much groups; it was more like couples. But once you got to the club, man, I mean, that was the biggest club in Chicago. It had so many screens because it was associated with Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
So it was like they had the games on. Obviously, on Sunday, every girl in the town was in their sweatpants watching the game. So every guy was there. I mean, back then it was like, it was like the flight attendants. It was like, it was this, it was that. It was very just like, man, you just you got to go to this place. You don't believe because you're single. So you want to go out and you want to meet girls, or you want to do social or everything. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go out with the guys. No, you were going out.
There is a book on that specific topic called "Very Important People" by Ashley Myers. She's actually a PhD, and she spent 10 years hanging out with pretty much most high-profile promoters in New York, and she talks about her discoveries and all the business models of the clubs, as well as this intergender relationship kind of dynamic. So there are lots of takeaways. And in a club, if you show up at the door with enough women with you, you can get in and get a table pretty much every time.
In Vegas?
Yes.
In my time, that was not. No. No, the girls.
In your time, maybe yes. Maybe
no, in that period, no. But yeah, they would okay, because they're going to get the table.
Yes.
And then they're going to get a percentage of the table. But West Coast Leather, we were just with them. We got invited by other people. We got invited by for example, we were in Las Vegas. They had magazine parties. So we would go for 944 and Strip Las Vegas magazine. And it was really cool because it was in a club in the casino. I mean, it was when it was just starting. I mean, it was kind of like Facebook, but before Facebook.
Yeah.
And so that was okay, you were at this event and it was nothing weird, pictures or anything. I mean, yeah, people were probably drunk or whatever, but we worked every day. So we had 2 shifts. We had the morning shift and then the late shift. And maybe you're off one day a week, but Kid Rock was coming the next day. What was the guy from the Magician? He was in there with his mother. And then it was the Lifetime channel. I mean, every single day, because there was nobody else in the dance. The guy from, they used to help Elvis, his name Jay DeKaiser. And he used to tell me about the 5-minute nap. You know about the 5-minute nap?
No.
It's probably before meditation, but if you can lay on the floor or something like that and just lay down.
In the middle of the club, you just lay down on the floor.
Yeah, no. In the middle of
the music is pumping.
I talk to you and at 8 o'clock you're still working. I was you better, you have to take a break tomorrow for 5 minutes and lay on the floor and stretch your back.
Yeah, the meditation is similar technique, and also there is so-called non-sleep deep rest, where you'll work with your breathing primarily, and the breathing affects your nervous system and makes it relaxed. So yeah, there are multiple ways to get in a better state if you don't sleep. But nothing is better than sleep, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are leaving night life and especially business, is because your internal clock shifts so much that you are up during the night and then you sleep during the day. That's not really healthy at all.
Everyone in my family
Yes.
tells me I'm not a morning person.
It's okay to be not a morning person because this is genetic. You are either a morning person or you are a night person. The reason why we have two types still is because my favorite topic is evolutionary psychology. And 500,000 years ago, we needed people to guard the tribe during the night. You see? While the other shift runs around and hunts during the day, for example, somebody has to guard the tribe during the night. Also, this is why we have like serial killers and any kind of like people who are not sensitive to violence, because somebody has to sneak into the enemy's tribe during the night and kill everybody there. So there is a very, very small percentage of population that do have this proclivity towards violence, but not very few, because you don't want to have too many of those.
No, please. Yeah, I'm going to stay in a positive note. Hey. So I wanted to say one more thing, because I know Jenny had a question about what we were doing with this kind of eco-friendly and our recycling, and you got a jacket for we wanted to give you all a gift today from the West Coast Leather Vegan Collection.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for that jacket. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm going to wear it all the time. But yeah, I came in today and we're just chatting, got me a nice glass of wine, and we're sort of talking about what I do. And I work for a sustainable corporate gifting company. And so that's definitely something I'm passionate about, is sustainability. And so I'd love to learn more about sort of your contribution to the environment and what you do to promote sustainability within your company.
I mean, thank you for like acknowledging that, but like it's even more important than anyone like thinks in the global economy. Like if you think how much money Walmart does, for example, it used to be like 18% of the economy for the United States. So, maybe you don't go to Walmart.
Walmart's capitalization is like $1.4 trillion, no?
So vegan leather last year was $33 billion.
Wow.
That's the retail. It's now $37 billion.
Wow.
So I always liked jackets that were not necessarily leather, but we carried a brand and we didn't realize they're PETA approved, they're women owned, and it's washable. And they use very high quality zippers, and it's like, okay. So I'm really into black.
Yeah.
Like clothing, but I'm known in the industry for color. So it's so hard for me to decide what to do. So anyway, I did all black vegan leather, and then I got a really cute line or pretty line of kind of fall, kind of like the Marlboro Girl with the shearling kind of thing, but it's vegan suede and leather, and it's really affordable, and everybody can. It's fast fashion that actually lasts from this brand, and I sell it like really low price just to get new customers.
That's amazing.
On top of that, I was really impressed by the leather byproduct. I don't think it's a byproduct. Like you can use the remnant of leathers to make another piece of art.
Right, and that's what Eugene was
Yes,
wearing
that's
earlier.
like,
But
really
yeah, so
authentic.
that's the leftover pieces. And it's called the Remnant Collection, but we ended up calling it the Scrap Collection. Then we had it like, it was like kind of like tattoo. But yeah, so we take the pattern, whatever the pattern of the garment might be, and we were able to change the pattern based on what's left of the skin, and then adjust the next piece. And then, so we're going to continue to use all of the pieces. And I guess Elvis Presley, when he got divorced, Priscilla wore a patchwork jacket from North Beach Leather that was all patches. And so when we were North Beach Leather, Michael Hoban's wife, Isabel, who's also very brilliant, she came up with something. They had a lot of extra material in a factory in China, and she's like, I got an idea. Because she had a very strong French accent, and she was amazing, and her parents, and we were in Paris and studying fashion all the time. And that was one of the highlights, that I got to go and, get taught by someone who was from the area. And Michael is very passionate about, inspiration from Paris and leather. So I've kind of carried that over to West Coast Leather. So yeah, I mean, I try to like think of all the people that I wanted to, talk about. There's two more people I wanted to talk about. One was in North Beach Leather in Honolulu when I was just starting my general manager role. And we had the sumo wrestler Akebono. And I was telling Jenny the story, and he's 6'8", 550 pounds, sumo wrestler from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Need a lot of leather for him.
Right. So everyone said the same thing. Guess what they said? How many skins? So lambskin, we could never make it.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask the question. So leather is it only lambskin, or it can be taken from any other types of animals? Or is it just
We use only the ones that were already used for the food, and then the skin is left over. So there's cowhide and lambskin primarily. We use snake skin sometimes, but only in California. You can't use all. Alligator's legal. We do it on demand. So it's lambskin, which is the ones you're wearing, which is thinner and breathable. So breathable is key. Cowhide, not any ventilation,
Right.
unless it's perforated.
Yeah.
So it's great for a motorcycle. It's great for protection.
Yeah.
We've saved people in jackets that had cowhide and metal. There was a Thunderbird jacket. It was a doctor. He came with 12 doctors. They rode in from Ohio. They were doctors. They were like had motorcycle. And he went down. He skidded 150 feet. But all that happened is all the metal skidded down to the rivets. He brought all those guys. Each one of those guys spent like $1,000, which was a lot of money, back in the day. But this guy, Akebono, comes into the Ala Moana Center, didn't call or anything, but it was like Caesar's Palace in the top of the day. It was the #1 store for North Beach Leather, Honolulu, North Beach Leather. Crazy. So I came in as general manager, and I'm there, and he's coming in, and I'm like, get me a ladder. I mean, it's like he wants a Thunderbird jacket, multicolor from North Beach Leather. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I measured him. I mean, literally, I was on a step stool, and somebody find me the picture. But I talked to my manager, and he told me, kind of reiterated the story. And so I looked up all the information. He's Akebono Tara. And at the same time, we did all the Pro Bowls with the NFL. So we had all the players from the Pro Bowl every year at the store. And we only had female salespeople at the store and two manager guys. So they were always interested to talk to the girls because they wanted advice about their girlfriends or their wife. And we had Barry Sanders, we had Benny Blades, we had Marshall Faulk. These are all guys in the Hall of Fame. And when I was back in New York, we had Steven Seagal. He was in the top of his day with the Native American jacket with all the beads. He was in all of his big movies. Mary J. Blige come in all the time, Before the Weekend, whatever, color block jacket, which was like the big thing. TLC came in one time with their stylist, and Left Eye got the 8-ball jacket. You can see all the pictures online of her. And she had a couple other jackets. So Schwarzenegger, I did the entire movie Eraser with James Caan and Vanessa Williams. That was so much fun because he invited us to like his party. So now we work with everybody local. Now we work with the wineries, now we work with the, if they call us, we're there. And we just got featured in 2 French different magazines, international, and one in Spain. So our clothes are getting recognized, now around the world.
Yeah.
So to me, that's very gratifying. But we also, we just appreciate all our clients and our staff.
I was going to ask you, what do you think? What do you see doing like next? Are you going to stay with your store? Do you want to grow it, or like how do you?
I would like to
See
move
the future.
to Las Vegas,
Okay.
which has been a goal. We had a business partner that we had a store. It was fantastic. It was in the Fashion Show Mall. They've offered us to come back. It's a big investment. You really need to build out a store. You've got to have the latest technology. You've got to have, the screens, the fitting rooms with every color lighting.
In Vegas, yes.
Yeah,
Everyone expects it to be.
It's got to be
Disneyland.
like an I don't need a big store, but it's got to be like okay, because when I had the number one store that I had in the Vegas thing, the guys from the TV shows, and they had like, it wasn't a podcast, it was just like Lifetime Channel. It was these things, and I had a wall like this beautiful art here, but it was just a little rat thing to put 2 jackets. So it was like a art wall, but it was actually my leather, like the Panther jacket, the Thunderbird jacket, the True Love jacket, the Heart jacket, True Love, every single jacket, the Lion. So it was all there. And the guy would come in and he goes, "You're killing me." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, just take my card because I'm getting one." And it started at $1,000 on the wall. Wow. So, and then I had just all you girls, and you got commission. You're getting 10%. So the girls were pretty fast on your heels back then. You don't have to wear heels anymore, but back then it was Vegas. I mean, it's like everybody was dialed in. You did this. Didn't matter. You left the floor. You lost a sale. Whew. You were not happy.
Yeah.
So we split the sales because I didn't want the girls bickering.
You should start the affiliate program where whoever brings you a customer and customer buys, you give them
a percentage.
Some percentage.
Please.
No, definitely. I mean, and we can do it online. If you have a code, we can put it there, and whoever buys your
the
your
thing
stuff.
that it's I would love to do that, and I've done that kind of where I had model discounts or photographer discounts or people in the business but when you come in, you get it personally tailored and everything. If you order it online, fine. I mean, if I see you and you send me a picture, I know it's going to look great. And we have those clients, all over the world that do that. But it is an experience to come in and, and you can kind of see, we did fit everyone today,
Well, not me. I just happened to fit into this.
I know that's not your size, but I just thought it was fun for the shoot with the color.
I have a question. Before we deviated from the topic of growth and expansion, you're saying now you're in the international market and you're in Spain. Like, what does it take for you to go beyond borders and be in Africa? Like, what would it take you, or what does it take for you to have that representation in Africa? Let's say South Africa, you get some of your raw material from there.
So basically how we're doing it, because we're not a big, we're not like corporate sponsored and everything. It's like I'm doing this on my own now for 20 years, with my team, and everybody is working. But what I do is I submit the pretty photo shoots to magazines from that country.
Okay.
So that would be the first thing. But also, for example, if you were to contact a leather exporting company that also tan the leather, not just sold the raw material, that would be something that would be kind of cool. So it's easier than it used to be, because to connect, you can see usually on LinkedIn or something and verify people and things like that. But when I was previously, when we ordered from South Africa, it was exclusive for leather pants because there's not one flaw in the skin and they stretch a little. So you put it on like women didn't want the pants to stretch too much. They go, oh, these are so soft, they're great, but they're kind of big on me. I went out one night. Everything relates back to the nightclub business, Eugene.
Not just nightclub, but just I would say nightclubs amplify a lot of the dynamics. You
Yeah.
see, and it's
But
dressing up and looking unique.
I worked with a nice lady that had some fabric from there. If you found some fabric that might mix with leather, because I don't like just leather now. I'm trying to do more and more and more cross media, it's called. So it would be leather with fabric. So if there was some fabric that was kind of stretchy, like the white dress she has, like if you feel this, that's stretched leather. So if it was stretch material, maybe that they're doing, that would open up a business opportunity. Because I work with Turkey a lot, and then I would go to a show for the Magic Convention in Las Vegas, which is all the vendors for, it's called sourcing, but it's also designers you might want to order from instead of just making everything yourself. Certainly a lot to be made if you study it and you kind of the raw material wouldn't help. You have to have it finished goods, or not finished goods, but finished raw material. Because I only going to buy from maybe 10 or 15 different companies because people are picky with the colors. So I have to call everybody when they want like a turquoise, but it's more aqua or it's more teal, so it's a lot of attention to detail. This one, I really like the pink, but yes, it is not exactly the Barbie pink.
Yeah.
It's more of a hot, would you say hot pink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lulu's is a bit
Definitely.
brighter and
hot
lighter. So that's maybe getting there. And this one is, I think, bluer.
This one is from, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Still looks bright.
Joe
yes.
lotioned it today. Yeah. I mean, the thing about this raw material is instead of the natural, kind of shine that you might think of for leather, this is what actually is the kind of the grainier or the texture and it comes in every color. I mean, it's science. I mean, I've always been into fashion tech, but like leather, oh my gosh, you can have several people on a team, that are like just kind of researching it. And my manager, Joe, does a great job. And we have a lot of people that are like kind of sending us samples all the time. I think people are super specific. But when I found this, I knew, this was a big decision. That was a Playboy jacket for Hugh Hefner and his wife, Crystal Hefner.
One of his wives. He had
Well, his last wife before he passed, unfortunately, Rip Hef. But he also had the Shannon twins living in the house, and they were like 21.
Oh, remember?
Maybe they were 19 when they started. But
Hugh Hefner,
they were very nice.
There is a book about Hefner, and if you read the book, it's like that man lived such a controversial lifestyle, and he was kind of happy. He probably was the happy. He died the happiest man on earth for obvious reasons, right? But at one point, he's like, "Well, okay, I think I've seen enough. I'm going to like settle down and get married and just be monogamous." And he lasted for like 4 years, I think. And then you're like,
See,
okay, I'm done with this.
I've not watched all those. I actually work with the inside people in the business of Playboy Enterprises. Elizabeth Norris, I don't think she's with us anymore, but I work with a lot of the people in the stylists, and they get you the papers to be an authorized vendor, and it's a big deal back in the time. So that was like a wholesale thing. So instead of just selling the retail to customers, they order for their website like thousands. It's like, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I like making the one for the celebrity. That was for them. And then the time before it was for Jenny McCarthy. But we also made Cher her jacket for the Turn Back Time video, and that was with Kyle Bush, and that was for Operation Helmet for our soldiers in the Afghanistan war. So the actual funds from the charity went to research so that the roadside bombs, that they had better helmets for our soldiers. So we've done some really, good things. And Cher was nice enough to sign, and we still have the jacket in the store, the back of the jacket, because we made one extra. Whenever we make a celebrity a jacket for them, one for the celebrity, one for the charity, which they auction, one for West Coast Leather, which they sign. So they were like,
it's 3 copies every time. Because I kind of like if all those jackets are for celebrities, why are they back? Are they returning them or what? Like what's going on?
No,
Yeah, it's a copy.
Well, I don't know. It works nice because the people like, oh, that's really Cher's, thing. So it was good for us. We kind of feel like we're like the Hard Rock of leather clothing companies. Like the Hard Rock Cafe. If you go in, they have everything in art in the next plexiglass. So that's kind of like we have that kind of history. You can see the pictures from the old time. Here's one. If you guys see this is from 1996. That's a full length coat that was featured in Vogue magazine.
That's before Instagram. I can't show it.
Different lighting.
She had a hat, and she had pretty cool hoot shoes, but it was controversial because she had a pierced belly button, and she didn't have any top on, but it was accepted. Hermes did a shot with a woman in a white shirt, just on a couch, and the shirt was kind of wet. So it was like, it was changing times for fashion. We also did something that I just remembered now, which was probably one of my highlight stories, is we did a fashion show at the Fashion Cafe in New York. And that was a restaurant that was a fashion show with Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, Ellie McPherson. And so we did a fashion show for 30 days in a row that I was in charge of.
Every day.
Wow.
Every day. Yeah, for lunch. And Wilhelmina, were the models. And then we did the search with them. And I was one of the hosts. And, it was like a big thing. It was like on E! Entertainment. And so I had a lot of exposure with like just doing those kind of like shows. Talk about the clothes a little bit.
Which celebrities would you like to work with, who you haven't worked with yet?
Well, I've not worked with Steph Curry, and I have worked with Michael Jordan. So I didn't tell you the Michael Jordan story. Then I have to tell you about my staff. But the Michael Jordan story is probably the best story. So the Michael Jordan story, Michael Jordan, obviously, you've heard of Michael Jordan. So he was a basketball player for the Chicago Bulls. And so I was hired in 85, and, I was getting married and everything. So if we had kids, it was going to be Michael Jordan or Michelle and Jordan. So it was Michelle and Jordan. So I had the kids, and but Michael came in when I first started working there in 1987 with Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Charles Oakley, and they were the Charles Oakley was like the enforcer, it was called, and Pippen and Grant were the rookies. And Michael said, hook them up. And so Horace Grant's 6'11", Pippen is 6'8", and Oakley is 6'9" and built like the Rock. So I don't know what, I was like, oh, geez. So lucky we had these coats that were motorcycle shearlings. They were really long and oversized. And I sold all of them a jacket that we had in stock. I was like, that's how I got my start, because I didn't panic, and I just put it together, and like, then he was my buddy, and then he brought in his wife Juanita, and Juanita was super nice, and Michael was like, he knew that I was, I asked him to be like the godfather for my daughter, and he said, I can't do it, but he was my buddy, and so he brought in his wife, and she would buy like 14 pair of shorts, like every color, because leather shorts were the thing. So, and they were pleated, and kind of Italian, a little longer. So, and then he brought in Charles Barkley. So the NBA was like every day, and like Charles Barkley's was like, my wife's here. Can you like entertain her? I got to go play the game. So he left his wife at the store and says, you got a limit of $3,000. And I'm like, that's like 5 minutes. I could do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So it was every day. And then it was Armand Gilliam, who was like, he had a girlfriend in every city, and he had a spreadsheet for me. And it was like, okay. So, but he wasn't married. He was a single guy. He was a great guy. So, but my favorite player was Dave Parker from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he was high fashion, Louis Vuitton, Ferragamo,
Balenciaga. That's high fashion
my
now.
God, this guy was and he would call me and he goes, yeah. I was like, what? And he was like, man, I got good news and bad news. And I was like, oh, geez, I guess give me the bad news. And he's like, oh man, my luggage was stolen again. I was like, what? You had your jackets in there? He goes, the whole outfit. I was like, oh, what's the good news? I need the whole outfit. So I was like, give me your credit card.
Yeah,
So-
that's good for
so
you.
I was number one salesman before I was the general manager for 10 years because I was like pretty good at paperwork. I was like, okay, you got your credit card now. We were allowed to keep the credit card back then. Now it's legal to keep the credit card, but if your customer tells you, we could maybe, but you're not supposed to. I mean, I try to abide by all the rules because if you're in business 20 years plus 18 for North Beach Leather, it's like, hey, I paid a lot of taxes. Like a lot of tax, right? Think about how much tax I paid.
In California specifically. You have extra.
Just in all the years from my business.
Yes. Two things you can be sure in your life about is death and taxes, right?
So wait. My dad told me the same thing is like rent, car payment, taxes, and electric or something like.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. But I mean, I love to support this city, and I feel like we're in a nice smaller location now. We were downtown for all those years. San Francisco, the Bay Area, California, the West Coast. Mm-hmm. So many of the people have supported us when they come and visit. We actually do have tourists that come by. They kind of search us out. So, we appreciate, all these people. And when they come in, we don't rush you. It's like, take your time, look around, get a feel for it. Try something on. It's the leather law. So, yeah, so I talked a little bit about Yvette, that I brought her in from LA and she worked in Hawaii and then she married Gino and now she's got her own podcast and she's a model and she modeled in my 2004 catalog. Joe Crane is, my best friend. He's our right-hand man. He's the general manager, the operation manager. He's been with me since we started in 2003, but he was also came from LA after the LA store closed from North Beach Leather. He helped more celebrities than anybody. Everybody. Oh wait, the Kardashians when he babysitted the Kardashians.
That sounds familiar.
That's a whole that's a whole episode in its way. But yeah, and I want to talk about Joe's son, Leos. He's our Spider-Man. He can do all the racking and stuff, and we are going to remodel the store a little bit. We're going to boutique it a little bit more. It's something you guys got to come and check out.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, I told you about Jamie, our PR lady. Mm-hmm. We have, of course, hundreds of former employees that I would like to thank for their time. Most of them will say that they had a good experience. And, we've had a lot of parties, and we would like to maybe do some kind of promotion with you.
Yay.
Where we invite all the former models to a...
The party is the promotion. So let's find some mention somewhere and make it the party.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be guest list only, invitations only, lots of security, no random people. It's going to be the best party.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I like your
Awesome.
style, right?
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to
Would you
it.
rather have him in charge or anybody else?
Yes. Him in charge.
Yeah, sounds like we have a plan.
Yes, that sounds good.
So thank you, Jenny, Lulu, Haisu, and Ashley, and Eugene.
Of course. Yeah, let's wrap up.
It's WestCoastLeather.com.
WestCoastLeather.com. Follow the Instagrams are down below. Follow our beautiful models. Follow Skip. He has also an account. Like to close up, Skip, what would be your advice to designers who are just starting, and they are not sure if their stuff will be valuable, interesting to somebody, who potentially would be buying there? Like how do you think you can inspire them?
Two things. Number one, giving back is always in fashion.
Yeah.
So if you're doing something and you really enjoy it and you've got something, maybe when you're a little bit established, give back some way. But number one is believe in yourself. It's like every question that you see in like Maxim for the models is like, what inspires you? Is like, you have to like have a lot of determination and then don't be afraid to cut it. So if you're a designer, cut it, put it in the fabric, put it together raw and then elevate it, 7 times to where you have a finished sample. A finished sample is what you give to a factory and the factory can produce it for you or can make a sample run. So, and if you're an emerging designer and you have, some really good talent and you want to incorporate leather or leather and suede or leather and microfibers or different things, we actually help designers do it. We give wholesale price to emerging designers, and we give the credit. Candace Kyoko, that was the last story. She was third in Project Runway in 2015. I did her whole line. She mentioned me in 17 magazines. We were editorialized because they wanted the collaboration. So when you do something with someone, they give you back what oh, well, we don't just want yours. Well, what did you do with West Coast Leather? Because we're refined. If somebody brings me something, I'm not going to put that normally out. I'm going to redo it and make it nice.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay. Where is next where people can see your collection besides your store, of course?
Well, the store is at 2060 Union in San Francisco in the Marina District. I'm also on the board of directors for the Union Street Association to keep the city, accountable to help, the smaller businesses and all the offices and everything, but not just in our area, but just in the city and the safety. And, everybody wants to be comfortable doing stuff. So that's kind of what I'm doing, but also just on the website. But mostly if you have any interest in something, call our store, because then we can get a stylist to help you and find everything in your size. If you want something just now, if you got a little time, we can usually make something in 2 weeks to 4 to 6 weeks. More difficult things take even more time. If you buy some jackets from specialty designers that make a jacket, there's one company in Oregon and it takes a year. So it's a craft, and I appreciate you asking all those, kind of difficult questions. It's not easy to explain. If I took you to the factory and you had the behind the scene thing,
I would love to go.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting, and that's what Vogue and InStyle and some of those magazines did for Project Runway. They actually went to the cutter, and right now he just got an offer to work for another company that's my guy for 23 years. And, it's just limited amount of people in the business. And, I hopefully, don't have to say goodbye to my, number one guy. It's oh my God, what will I do? I don't know what I do. Don't even ask me.
Okay. Wonderful. Touching, and I love it. Folks, if you need amazing, high-quality leather products for your photo shoots, for your commercials, come to Skip's store. Corporate, yes, come to Skip's store. All right. And that's it. We'll see you in next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.